Hi, Jennifer Tardy here, your career success coach with blackcareersuccess.com. You see it right here on my shirt. You're going to see more of these shirts. If you want one, just reach out to me. Go to my website. Now, we're not here today to talk about the t-shirts. We're here today to talk about 10 types of managers to avoid. Okay, so the next time you're looking for a job, you would look for some of these telltale signs, and or if you know that you're working for one of these bosses today, it's probably time to look for something else. So we're going to talk about 10 types of managers to avoid and why. Ready to get started? Let's go. So manager number 1 is the manager with no voice and no seat at the table. You want to avoid working for this type of manager because when you need that manager to stand up for you, or when you are hoping that something is going to change, you need someone who has a voice and is a decision maker on the leadership team. If they're not, then what's the benefit of working for them? The second type of manager to avoid working for is the manager who feels that you should work because you just love working and love the work that you do, not for money. Don't worry about money. But one of the things that I always have to correct with my clients is understanding that it is okay, and it is the primary reason why you're working is to exchange your time for a salary, and a good salary. So whenever you're working for a manager who constantly tries to tell you that you should be lucky to have this job, or people in our society aren't getting these types of good jobs, so just be happy to be here. You're working for a good organization with good benefits, be happy about that. No, your responsibility is to earn your worth. So if you're working for a manager like that, it's going to be hard to change their mind about why you deserve a merit increase or just more money in general. The third type of manager to be wary of is the manager that doesn't believe in developing their employees. So development from the standpoint of giving you access to better projects, giving you access to trainings, or giving you guidance on how just to develop yourself as a good employee. So the next time there's a viable opportunity open, you'll be the next one prepared for it. The next type of manager to avoid is the micromanager. But I'm going to also throw in the macro manager too. So if you don't know the difference, the micromanager is the person that is constantly on your back and looking over your shoulder, giving you direction and giving you feedback on every single thing that you do. And it starts to make you feel self-conscious about your ability to do the job. And you begin, as an employee, to become dependent on needing to go and get that person's approval for everything. In turn, you're not really growing in your work. And so I also pulled in the macro manager as well, and that's the person that's 100% hands-off. That's okay if you know how to do your job, but if you don't know how to do your job, you need someone who can at least give you a vision or some sort of direction so that then you can run and you can get the job done. So what you're looking for in this instance is someone that understands that being a good manager requires balance of giving direction, but also allowing the person to figure out their path as well too. The next type of manager to avoid, and you should run from this manager if you see any signs or any clues that this is that person, it's the person who believes in deadlines and deliverables first and people second. You should always want to work for a person that believes in people first and that people are the greatest asset. And then as long as you have the right people and they're feeling good, then getting to deadlines and deliverables is the next priority. So you have some managers out there who believe that people are just expendable. And if you decide to leave or if they decide to leave, that's okay. We'll just get somebody else to come in here and do the work. If you're working for a manager today that believes in deadlines and deliverables first and people down the line, then you should probably run because you're probably going to get burnt out in that position very, very quickly. The next type of manager to avoid are managers who are way too political. So these are the people that that will make decisions based on how it's going to make them look among their peers or among people that they are reporting to overall. And sometimes if you're reporting to this type of manager, it will begin to make you question whether they're telling you the truth or not, or whether they're trying to manipulate a situation with you or not. So some managers are more worried about their own specific reputation and how they are doing in the company versus what you need as a person reporting to them and the type of support that you need. And sometimes supporting you as their employee means that you may not always be able to be in the in crowd among your peers and the people that you're reporting to. So you should think about that type of manager. It's not a good experience to work for them. Speaking of reputations, another type of manager that you probably want to avoid is a manager with a horrible reputation. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen all the time, but sometimes when you're reporting to someone who doesn't have a great reputation, guess how that reputation rubs off? It's going to rub off on their team. And so if no one likes working with your manager, odds are it's going to be few and far between that someone's going to reach around and go and work for someone who reports to them. It's just not the right way to do things. So you want to make sure that your manager does have a good reputation overall. Another type of manager that you need to make sure that you avoid is a manager that doesn't really stand up for themselves. If your manager doesn't stand up for their own self, then how in the world are they ever going to stand up for you? Goodness, can you imagine? So if your manager is a pushover and you have another department that's throwing work your way and your manager just keeps saying, yeah, well, let's just do it. Let's just get it done. Who wants to work that way? Nobody. Nobody's going to want to work that way. So if you have that type of manager, it's something to consider. It's not a good place to be in at all. Here's another manager that you should make sure that you avoid. It's a manager who doesn't value diversity. A really, really strong leader takes a look at what perspectives are missing on the team, and they will do what's necessary to close that gap. So diversity isn't always about race or ethnicity, even though that's a very, very important piece in order to have a truly effective team. But diversity is often also about thought and opinions and perspectives and different ways that people can bring their own experiences to the table. So a manager who doesn't value diversity is not going to have the most effective outcome on the team if everyone is thinking alike, if everyone looks alike, behaves alike, and thinks alike. So another type of manager to avoid is a manager with low emotional intelligence. I'm going to do a whole different video on emotional intelligence, but for this video in particular, just as a high level, emotional intelligence is one's own ability to control your own emotions and to have a positive impact on the emotions of people around you, right? So it's to be able to be aware of what's happening as it relates to the emotions within you and the emotions of other people around you too. So having a manager with a low sense of emotional intelligence, they're the people that are typically missing cues, and they're also the people that are typically making things worse, especially situations that become tense or highly intense. So they can just tend to make a situation even worse. And so working for a manager like that probably to me is one of the worst experiences to have. And last but not least, this manager, the last manager that I'm going to talk to you about, pay close attention to this, because this type of manager will sort of sneak up on you and you may not realize that it's the person that you're working for until a little bit later along your career path. But let me add one more piece onto it. It also could be the manager who doesn't think about their own growth potential around earnings and salary. Be careful with this manager, because In areas where they're already stifled by way of their own career and their own salary will seep into your ability to grow to the next position and to grow to the next earnings level. These types of managers will oftentimes try to make you feel guilty about asking for an increase or seeking a promotion because it's really not something that's a priority to them. Always find a manager who is progressive in their own way. Progressive in thinking, progressive in best practices, progressive in their own career path, progressive in their own earnings. They are the managers that will say to you things like, well, the money will come. Just be happy that you have a good job because in this economy, most people don't. Come on, I get it. I understand that. And you can be extremely happy with the work that you're doing. You can be extremely happy with the people that you work around. But it doesn't change the fact that if you've done your own research and you know that you're underpaid, or you know that your skill set that you've been honing and developing is now affording you the opportunity to get a promotion, do not allow a manager like this to hold you back. Got it? So these are the areas. I'm pretty sure it was 10. It may have been more than 10. I could think of a lot more, but these are the ones that come to mind. If you find yourself in a situation where you're reporting to people who are showing you any of these telltale signs, think about it. And think about what your own non-negotiables are along the way. Some of you may say, oh, okay, I have a manager that does one or two of these things, but overall, where it matters to me, it's completely okay. And that's fine. It's up to you. I just wanted to put it out there for you. I hope this video helps you in some manner or some form. Please stop back again. Every Tuesday, we're going to have a new video. So for now, go ahead and subscribe. If you like this video, click like or leave us a comment. Tell us about a manager that maybe we didn't have on this list. Until we meet again, I'm Jennifer Tardy, your career success coach. See you soon.